Good morning, everyone. We'll call this meeting to order. Roll call. Morning, Lonnie, Lucy. And Dave Dunn is back, in case no one recognizes.
Good to be back.
It's good to see you.
Good to have you.
Sorry. I can't hear any better than I ever have.
We thought they'd fix that too.
I just turned my microphone on, so that's all.
Good. I'll call for the approval of the agenda for the morning. Have a motion?
I'll move.
Okay, second.
Approved. Public invited to be heard. We have some guests who'd like to say hello and tell us who you are. I know. You've been here before, but gotta do it.
So we're not guests. We've
What?
been here before.
We're returning guests. That's the same deal.
We're interlopers.
Here's that. Since you spoke last, you can speak first. Go ahead. Tell us who you are.
Laura Ambler from Friends.
Tina Bailey, I'm just here. She's my sister, so I drag her along. Donna Presswood from the Friends.
Morning.
Hi, I'm Jen, and I'm the new Assistant City Manager for External Services for the city. So, excited to be here today.
Welcome. Glad you're here. All right. Let's see what's next. Approval of previous month's minutes. Any changes, adds, or deletes?
I have just a couple of things.
Okay.
So I know that what we said under C, never mind, on the third page, the motion to present the proclamation to the council to recognize Hunger Action Month did not get presented to the council, which was not any reason why. John was in charge of it and had everything right. For some reason, the city did not follow through to have it as a presentation at the council, which is really nice. They give it, they read it, they get up there, they take pictures. It's really a nice thing. And that's unfortunate because I think it would have been really nice for them to see and for us to be recognized and for Naomi from Longmont Food Rescue to be recognized as well. But I have brought a copy of it, so I will pass it around so you all can see it.
Oh,
Okay.
Thank you.
We're working on getting better in the future.
Anything else? All right. Can we get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion approved.
Second.
Thank you. And on to new business. Lindsay Neville.
Yes. Hello.
Everyone knows who you are, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I've probably run across each of you at one point, whether it was at like Safeway down the street or like here at the senior center. I am a Longmonster as well. I work for the Boulder County Area Agency on Aging, which is part of Boulder County government. I have two things, broad topics that I'm hoping to go over with you today. I have my timer going here because I understand I have 30 minutes and I want to try to do this effectively and efficiently. First up, I want to tell you a little bit about what the Boulder County Area Agency on Aging does. And second, I want to talk about budget. You've probably seen some headlines as of, I think they put it out Monday about our Boulder County budget. But with where we sit in the government, where our funding streams come from, we have a few more impacts outside of just Boulder County funding. Okay, starting with what we do right now. We have our long-term care ombudsman at the BC AAA. I'm going to call us that, or AAA going forward. Those are folks who advocate for residents of long-term care facilities. Those are residents of assisted living and skilled nursings across Boulder County. Other counties have their own ombudsman. It's one of those mandated services that are provided. So that's to advocate for residents, to also support their communications with staff. You may not know this, but at a lot of long-term care facilities, there are resident councils. So residents get together, you know, in a similar setting to an advisory board, and they talk about their needs and desires and things that they'd like to see change in the place that they call home. So our long-term care ombudsman can support in a number of different ways. I could talk about them for about an hour, but I'm going to leave it at that for now. We have a volunteer visitors program. This provides a little bit of companionship for folks who may be at home most of the time and can provide a little bit of respite or a break for a caregiver. We have volunteers who are 21 and over, go through a background check, and are screened in different ways and matched with somebody who's in home who may be looking for companionship and an activity or just somebody to get out of the house with or whatever it might be. They're paired. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't, and we can always rematch if needed. But they get together 2 hours a week, usually in the care recipient's home, and they can choose their own adventure on how they spend their time together. If there's a solo ager, the focus is really companionship. If it's somebody who's a care recipient and there's a caregiver in the mix, that caregiver tends to leave the home for a couple hours and gets their hair done, does groceries, whatever that might be. This service is absolutely free of charge and brought to you by your Boulder County General Fund tax dollars. We have some matches. I think our longest was like 17 years, but we've had some very long ones. And sometimes it's like, at first you're matched with the husband and maybe the husband passes away and then you'll move and volunteer with the spouse, if that makes sense, if you're already ingrained in that family. So these matches are very unique every time and different results. But yeah, it's just a service that's free of charge to folks. We have LGBTQ plus outreach and our project visibility training. This includes our Rainbow Elders program. That's for folks who are 50 plus, LGBTQ plus. You'll see us at Pride events, Longmont Pride. I was out there volunteering with our table this past June. We have different mixers. We have monthly times to get together. We kind of switch between whether it's online or in person. A lot of the times our Rainbow Elders are welcome into Pinocchio's right here in Longmont. It's a restaurant that treats our guests well, welcomes in the Rainbow Elders, and feeds them a really great meal at a good rate. Coming up in December, we have our Lavender Gala. With recognition that holidays are particularly difficult for older LGBTQ plus people because of familial rejection and things that they've experienced over their lifetime, this is an opportunity for folks to get together, have a good meal, dance, enjoy the holidays together. Dance if you want to. Most of us do dance when we go there. But that information, that's going to actually be released today. So if you receive Aging Well in Boulder County, which is one of my duties as our e-newsletter, you'll get some details on the Lavender Gala. Another program we have is our abuse and later life work. The group is called JCALL, or Justice Coalition for Abuse and Later Life. I predict that this work is going to go away because we received funding through a federal grant for that. And it is training for folks who may see abuse and not recognize that it's abuse. And what do you do when you see that? Like, what's the next step when you recognize financial, emotional, sexual, physical abuse? So that programming has been around for about 3 years. But I imagine the feds are going to make some different decisions on that. That's a grant out of the Office on Violence Against Women. But for now, it's still standing. And one of the other things that program allows is for people who have experienced abuse, who are older adults, they can have financial assistance for certain things as well. We have a pot of money to be able to help those folks, get their feet on the ground and get the types of services and resources that they need. Moving on, so we have our community living program. That's sort of the front door to our services, where you can call, you or anybody can call us at 303-441-1617. And a lot of the times it's like information about resources that are available in the county. So somebody might just be like, what are the assisted livings in Boulder County? And we can be like, well, these are the assisted livings, and that's the end of the call, right? But sometimes you'll get a call, and this is one that comes up for me time and time again as an example of somebody contacted us and said, yeah, my mom can no longer cut her toenails, right? And that is a need that people have. We need to cut our toenails and take care of our feet. They're very important. But it makes you think, what else could that person need if they're unable to cut their toenails? What else do they need? Some help around the house, maybe cleaning, Can they get through meal preparation? Do they need modifications in their home to make it easier for them to stand up, sit down, toilet, clean their bodies, whatever it might be. So it's the work of our community living team to kind of uncover some of that, and in a client-directed way, working with a client and understanding their needs and resources, helping address some of those needs that they have. One thing to know about that team is that we also have resource specialists who very specifically help in the mountains. So mountain living is a little bit different than down here. Services are not as abundant and can be very difficult to access. And we've recognized that. So for over 30 years, we have been providing specific services to the mountains, and it's a different kind of connection up there than we do down here, down the hill, as they like to say. And with incredible providers at the municipal level, City of Longmont being our gold star service provider, we don't need as many resource specialists through our organization because some of that service is available right here. Also within community living, we have our caregiving programs. They are going to change as a result of the county budget shortfall. It has been that there's been training, especially for caregivers of people living with dementia, to provide them resources, training, education, support, respite, and things like that. I don't know what that's going to look like. Right now, just the decisions around program changes have been made, and what it actually looks like we'll know closer to January 1. So that's just some insight as to things that are changing. Everybody in here probably knows that Medicare open enrollment begins 2 weeks from today. You have SHIP certified, State Health Insurance Program certified Medicare counselors right here in Boulder County. They are actually situated at the Longmont hub just down the street, who provide free, unbiased help to folks to understand what plan is right for them. Everybody should be looking at their Medicare every year, and especially this year, because I'm hearing that premiums are going up and coverage is going down across the board. So it's time to have your medication list ready, your chronic condition information, and to contact our Medicare counselors to get in with them and check your coverage, because everybody should be expecting changes. Again, that's free. They work with all insurance providers. It's different than what you might see from a Medicare broker, because they tend to only work with a select number of insurance companies, and they do get a kickback from those insurance companies, and our counselors do not do that. We have some wellness programming. We have hourly dietitians. We do provide some congregate meals. I know right here you have Longmont Meals on Wheels, and that is great. A lot of what we do is more in the mountains. So we have in Lyons, it's called the Redstone Cafe. We have meals there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we have a little group that gets together there. People from all over the community would be welcome to join that. That's just one of those places where we had kind of a desert of like congregate meal setting for older people. We also provide some pass-through funding to different organizations who provide some meals as well. Louisville, at their Recreation and Senior Center, there's a meal there that we help fund. We also send funding to Netherland area seniors, so they have a congregate meal there, and they also do home delivered meals, so we try to fill in the gap for nutrition for a lot of folks there. Other than that, we have pass-through funding for a number of different things. So that's like, we don't want to duplicate services. As BC AAA, we don't want to run a fleet of buses, but turns out Via Mobility Services already exists over there. So they fill out our request for proposals and let us know what they can provide. And we pass through funding to them for transportation. We have some legal service providers because we're not going to necessarily hire a lawyer in-house when we've got really great nonprofit and local legal services. So we do some pass-through funding there. What I will say on that note is that we've had to reduce the amount of funding that we're providing to our legal providers this year. We had a constraint on the amount of money that we could send out the door, so that was reduced. Another piece that was reduced is we did have 2 nutrition providers who we were funding. And if we're looking at the whole picture of things that are most important to get to our community and not duplicate, the decision was made to eliminate the funding to the nutrition counseling providers in favor of funding that would go toward meals. So getting more food in bellies as opposed to more education about food. And there may be other places for people to get nutrition counseling. Some of it from our own internal staff, and some we can help people navigate with their insurance providers the type of nutrition counseling that they can get. We have a bit more pass-through funding. Let me actually just pull that up real quick to make sure I'm not missing anything major. And I know Arlene probably knows it like the back of her hand, since she is a member of our technical review committee. Some of these. A day place here in Longmont. It's a day services for older people so that their caregivers can do what they need to do during the day. We have pass-through financial assistance dollars. City of Longmont is one of our recipients of that, where if there's a financial need for a client that your resource folks are working with, that they can say, okay, we have X amount of dollars and can help you fill this gap, whatever it may be. I don't know exactly how you direct it, and that is for you all to talk about. We have pass-through funding for counseling, home modification, chore work, so helping people around the home. What?
I think Brothers got
cut, but I think Cultivate still does some of that. So yeah, I think we still have some there, and I know that there's other providers for that. So that's a good overview of that piece. The other thing that I want to mention, it's unusual that an area agency on aging does that, but ours happens to house the veteran service officers for Boulder County. So these are the folks that help with disability claims for veterans and their dependents. And those disability ratings that people receive as a product of their service dictates how much income they would get from that disability every month from the federal government. So even if somebody was at a 50% and they have a new diagnosis, they can come to our veteran service officers and maybe get that upgraded to a much higher number, which would increase their monthly income. It is a tough job. It takes a really long time to get through the process. The feds are moving very slow, and they're making some changes sort of in the background that make it sort of unclear as to what type of disability rating or percentage somebody would receive for their service now. So there have been some changes there, but we call them our VSOs. Our VSOs are still there helping folks in any way that they can. They are not part of the VA, so your county taxpayer dollars provide the funding for the veteran service officers to serve our veterans and their dependents right in Boulder County. No changes to that program, really worth noting. We'll have 3 full-time VSOs probably by the end of next month. We're hiring 1 position right now. I think that's a pretty good overview. I mean, I do a bunch of stuff too, but my work is sort of like in the background. Political advocacy, so when there's different bills coming up during the state legislative session, when we hear that budgets are going to get cut, I try to get in the middle of it. I write our newsletter, I run our 27 web pages, I liaise the Aging Advisory Council. Other duties, I do emergency operations when there's a fire or a mass murder or a domestic terrorism event. So I do a little bit of everything.
So just one question.
Yep.
On your elder abuse, do you train law enforcement what to look for?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like kind of where the program started, is more there, and then it's become more community facing over time. And the person who leads that program, Liz, is available like to especially folks who are in aging services across the county, including staff here at the City of Longmont. If it's like, I don't know if this is something I should call the police about, like, what do you think? So Liz can kind of help make that distinction and educate on the fly about like what is reportable abuse and what goes to APS and like what might not qualify in that. So she's been nice in the background, because as much as we train on what mandatory reporting is, it can be hard to spot sometimes. So she's really fantastic for that. I don't know when that might end, by the way. So I'll let you know if it changes. It's a really tough time, but I think everybody knows that. I may as well be honest about it. Any other questions on services we provide before I go into budget stuff? Yes.
Yes, you have a brochure
Mhm.
that gives all this information.
Yes. Well, not all, but pieces. Yeah.
Okay, but they can connect to see,
Yeah.
find out. And is it bilingual?
Yes.
Are you able to outreach the bilingual people?
Yeah.
That they know how to outreach? You have bilingual staff?
Yes,
And
we
it's
do.
important because we have a growth,
Yeah.
a lot of bilingual people that don't know or hesitant
Yeah.
what to do, how to do it, or the resource, or whatever.
Yeah, I think all of our programs that are available to folks in Spanish, we do have bilingual materials for. And I work with a local translator on some of that to make sure that we have that. In terms of our internal staff, so on the community living team is where really our outreach is to the community. It's a little different with Longmont. So Longmont also has bilingual staff in your senior services who do a lot of that work. So our bilingual staff will focus more on like unincorporated areas of Boulder County and municipalities where they don't necessarily hire or focus on the needs of bilingual people, right? If that helps.
Do you have a person that monitors the legislative process, or you're the one?
That's me. So I do it alongside these folks who are known as policy analysts in the commissioner's office. So I work with them during legislative session and all year through everything federal and state special sessions too, I should say, to keep an eye on the bills that come up. A lot of the times we don't have a lot of action on bills because there are a lot of grandstanding bills, especially as we approach different election years, where somebody's like, oh, I need to fulfill on a campaign promise, let me put this bill forward, and it's just gonna fail. So you might see a bill that looks concerning, but like a lot of the time, it's not gonna make it anywhere, especially if it has any kind of fiscal note or financial ask associated with that bill, especially in a time like now. So I do keep an eye on it. The thing that sort of kept me up at night during the 2025 state legislative session, which runs January to May, was what would happen to our budget for, it's called state funding for senior services, which is like the companion dollars that come down to the area agencies on aging alongside the federal dollars. And we did take a hit, but the hit could have been a lot worse. So yeah, that was most of what I paid attention to during the 25 session. That'll probably be it for 26 too, because you're not going to see anything that passes with a huge fiscal note. Yes.
See, my partner, there was a Medicare class a couple of days ago here.
Oh,
at the
basic.
Senior Center.
Yeah.
And she attended that, and just echoing what you said, she was really concerned about this kind of double whammy
Mm-hmm.
of increased costs for
Yep.
Medicare and then decreased coverage. Is there any discussions around how we can fill that gap? Because that's going to hit, obviously, certain people very, very hard.
Yeah, so it's even more difficult with the changes to Medicaid that came through in the big bill from the feds. And the start of their fiscal year is today. And so I don't necessarily have the crystal ball to know what the gap would be, and I don't think locally we could have the type of funding that could like really fill the gap for
Yeah.
folks. So we have, what we do have across the municipal senior services and at BC as well is financial assistance dollars where we can hopefully help close the gap for folks. There's a program also through Boulder County Human Services. It's a financial counseling program. So people sit there with their monthly costs and work through it with somebody and see what they can do to reduce their costs and make ends meet. We refer a lot of people to that program, and I can send that after this too. But like funding across the board is down.
Yeah, and we're going to see some spillover, right, into housing, food insecurity.
Yeah, I mean, food costs are,
All kinds of other areas that.
and medical costs are up. Yeah, it's a difficult time. And I'll be blunt about it. I've already seen, as you know, I spend a lot of time with the data and in advocacy. I've already seen an increase locally in older adults experiencing homelessness for the first time in their lives here in Boulder County, and I'm expecting that number to increase over time. And I don't know how to stop it. Me personally, and I don't think that we as an organization necessarily know how to stop it either. We can do everything we can and put the people most at need connected with the services, but it's a difficult time.
Are you seeing that specifically correlated to the cost of medical costs, or?
No, I don't have like a cause for it necessarily. I think the narrative around homelessness tends to be that if you're seeing an older person who is homeless, that they're somebody who's been chronically homeless their whole life. So a part of it is I'm just trying to dispel some of that, is that people really are, like, I think, don't quote me on this, is either 55 plus or 60 plus are experiencing homelessness for the first time in their lives. And that's not just in Boulder County, that's nationally as well. I'd be happy to talk more about that and bring homeless solutions for Boulder County into that as well if you'd like to talk further.
Are you all Boulder County employees?
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody, we have a staff reduction now, so we're going from about 35 to like 30 now. And actually, let me step into the budget because that'll probably get us somewhere. So I am just here to talk about the impacts. I was not involved in the decision making, so I can't tell you the why, but I can tell you the what, right? And if you have questions that I can't answer, I can do my best to get those answered. And I'm already 23 minutes in, so I'm going to do my very best. So the BC AAA has three major fund sources. Federal government, they have the Older Americans Act. They mandated services that we provide. We are one of 14 AAAs in the state of Colorado and one of 614 across the U.S. So this began as a federal program. The state of Colorado also provides funding. It kind of matches what the feds provide, is the easiest way to put it. And it like further provides like mandates to our services. So it's about, across the board, it's about like 1.5 million to Boulder County AAA from the feds and about that same amount from the state, just to keep this as easy as possible. The third fund source is county general funds. So that's your taxpayer dollars to help supplement and expand our programs. And that usually comes in a little higher at about 1.8 million, and that will be reduced. So with the decisions made at the federal level this year, initially there were supposed to be major cuts to our federal dollars, the Older Americans Act dollars. But for the most part, those have stayed intact. So we have still like steady funding from the feds, even though a growing older population would indicate that we need more funds, but we're happy to at least stay stable in this environment. The federal shutdown that started today does not impact our service distribution. The feds already gave the federal dollars to the state, and the state has already distributed them to us. So we're good on the Fed side in terms of stability for right now. A year from now, I don't know. So things to know. Federal fiscal year runs October 1 today through September 30th. Your state fiscal year runs July 1 through June 30th. The county fiscal year is on the calendar, January 1 to December 31st, just to make it super difficult. And what that means is like throughout the year right now, we're getting hits from different levels, right? So the feds, it was shaky, but we're like stable. The state, like I said, during the 25 legislative session, we saw a reduction. In the previous state legislative session, they had increased the funding for AAAs because we were showing an increase in need and case complexity and an increase in the number of older adults. So we did get a small bump in 2024, but they rescinded that in the 2025 legislative session. We should not expect any type of increase from the state in the next session because the state is still working through that $1.3 billion deficit they created for themselves. So I'll keep an eye during the state fiscal year, and I will certainly through Arlene or whoever the rep is at that time, make sure that you all are aware of kind of what's happening and if we have an advocacy alert and a need for advocacy during the state legislative session. So, hold on, let me go to my notes. At the end of the 2025 state legislative session, we were told if you did not receive major reductions during the 2025 state legislative session, that you should expect them during 2026. So I'm expecting them. So I just want to very clearly state that. So we've gone over feds, state, and then I want to talk about county budget. There was a press release that went out, I don't know if it was yesterday or Monday, it's kind of a cloud right now, that there was going to be a change to our county budget. The process called for a 4.8% reduction to address a structural budget deficit. 4.8% for the county budget is $13.2 million. This is very specific to Boulder County general funds. This does not impact the fed and state dollars. We're not redirecting those. Those are mandated for certain services, and we're using them as we should. The structural budget deficit is projected to last the next 3 years. Positions that were vacant with Boulder County government have been eliminated. Those will not be filled. Some programs will be eliminated, including some of our own at the AAA. A total of 90 positions will be eliminated. 60 of those were vacant, and 31 positions currently occupied are being eliminated at the end of this year. So because the county fiscal year is calendar, it'll be the end of this year that those layoffs occur. So if nothing else, people have gotten a little bit of an on-ramp to understanding that their job will be ending in 3 months. The Boulder County Housing Authority and Boulder County Public Health are still in the process for their cuts. So there should be more. I just don't know what those are yet. In addition to the cuts in positions, there will be a $4 million reduction in our general fund budget, and that will come out of operating costs. So the dollars that we use to maybe feed the AAC or provide transportation to those meetings that we have, pens, pencils, those kind of there's going to be some changes there, and it has to total $4 million for a balanced budget. Per the press release, and I'm just saying this as a quote, no new full-time positions will be considered. The county will, however, honor prior commitments to add staff for new facilities on the jail campus after review to prevent role duplication. So the jail campus, you may have heard it as the Alternative Sentencing Facility or the Joe Pelly Center. So that is one place they'll still be hiring, or for folks who have experienced layoffs who would be good fits for those roles, they may find a job transfer internally that way. I feel like I've said too many words.
Yeah, that was excellent.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
It's really hard to share, and Arlene's seen me all year. I'm kind of gutted. I would rather just be honest about it. This is really difficult. It's really difficult to talk about, and it's really difficult to think about how our service to older people and caregivers in Boulder County is going to change. So, yeah. But I try to make the information digestible.
In the program that you talked about, the dementia, they're working with the client or with the family also to understand what is happening to their loved ones, because a lot of them are going through, don't understand.
Yeah.
I told you, put it there. I know some families are going through those difficult times. But they need to understand, be patient, and be aware of what's going through the loved ones.
Yeah. Would it be helpful if we had a class available in Spanish? Because I think all we have is monolingual English right now.
No, definitely.
We have a couple different things. One of my favorite trainings that we've offered, and I think we did it at the Aging Advisory Council right here, was how to approach someone with dementia, just how to talk to someone and how to treat someone and how to know when there might be a problem. So there's that side of it, and then we also have another training that's more for the caregiver, and there's a kind of a heavy book, and it's more about how to help somebody with activities of daily living, like toileting and bathing and things like that. From your perspective, does one of those sound more intriguing, or are they both needed?
Well, there was I think not too long ago, a program on dementia, but there was a translator.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Translator. It's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Because if the person is not the one that is talking about whatever, you lose it. And people are shy they hesitant to ask, I didn't understand. They don't. They're not gonna ask questions, you know, where it's more comfortable in understanding when it's a person
Yeah.
speaking the language.
I appreciate this feedback, and with the changes that we have on that team, I'm wondering if our bilingual resource specialists might be able to provide that training in the future. So let me take it back to the team and see what we can do.
Just to follow up on that, so there's never been a training or course in Spanish?
I think there has in the past, but the person
It's not currently.
not currently from our team. There may be some outside resources from that as well. So like Alzheimer's Association will do some of that, and we don't want to duplicate services. So, but if we understand the value of an in-person class that feels a little more hands-on to folks too. The Dealing with Dementia program that we offer now, we only offer like 3 times a year, and there's 12 spots in the class, and it fills up. And that one is in English. But I think there's room for expansion in what we could do there. I just don't know what it looks like with what we're facing.
There was a presentation of answer.
Yeah.
It was screened.
Yeah.
And they had doctors that were speaking Spanish, which was really great because you could ask the questions and they were, you know, even though they were not in person, to take them in person was very costly.
Yeah.
To drive a bus or go to the ride, get them down there, even though they were for like breakfast, lunch, whatever. I know because I was part of it, trying to get to go down there. It's very difficult. Like when they did it on screen, I thought it was really great, and I think that would work.
Yeah, I have a few friends in the aging space at Anschutz, so maybe I could see if they could come down to Boulder County and we can like co-sponsor something so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So let me check in with Anschutz. Her name's Jody. Check in with Jody.
Any other questions of Lindsay?
Sorry, I'm like the bearer of bad news like all the time now.
No, I think we'll take that a little step. I'd like, Marlene reports monthly what you all are doing.
Yeah.
I like on behalf of the board to say thank you for all that you do, but more specifically for the hard decisions you make now to support us the best you can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you need me? No? Okay.
You can stay for the whole time if you want.
I'm gonna go do a little work, and then Brandy and I are actually having lunch. So we try to get together every once in a while.
Good.
Good. Thank you again, Lindsay.
Yeah, thank you all for having me.
Thank you.
Slowly been coming out.
Board vacancy updates on the agenda. Hopefully we have to do on that. Last year we did volunteers for interview committee. Sue wants to volunteer to be on the interview committee for board. Eric is one. I'm a second one. Any third? We need 3 people.
Since I'm running or applying, would it be a conflict of interest for you to be on?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So I'm not.
Interview yourself after you get high marks. We need a third person. Dave, that's 3. Thank you all very much.
It's all males.
What?
What are the interviews?
The interviews are in, review is 10/21, 10/25. I'll send this out to everybody.
Do you want me to have that in mind? Do you want me to share real quick?
Sure.
I can jump in.
Okay.
October 21st to 25th?
So we're gonna review the candidate, now that we have our interview committee, we'll review our applications starting November 3rd, so that week of November 3rd. I'll work with this committee to schedule interviews with those candidates November 20th or November 21st. I'll work with you 3 to figure out what day works best, November 20th between 2 and 4 p.m. or November 21st between 1 and 3 p.m. So I'll send all this out to you so we have it in front of us. And from there, we'll be able to identify our candidate at the December board meeting. So that's just the timeline for that process.
I'm sorry, the actual interviews are,
November 20th or November 21st, based off of this committee's availability. 20 or 21.
thank you.
2 years
I'd be
ago.
interested if need be.
So back up.
Back-
Yeah,
All right,
put you.
thank you.
For reasons.
2 years ago, we had our elections in January for board chair. Last year, we did it in December, so I want to get it clear for this year. We have the elections in December. Everyone here knows who the people are. Might be a better voting process, but it's up to the board to choose that. Do we need a motion for that?
I would say so, right? Probably.
That we have the elections in
Yeah.
December? Can I get a motion for that?
I'll move that we have the elections in December. Make the motion.
Second. David seconded. So have the election for board chair in December. I think for the last year, things got a little bit complicated. I'd like to propose that we get a sheet out to everybody from the board, but asking for the experience of why someone wants to be chair, what their senior experience is, what have you. We'll get something out to everybody by the next meeting. Just a one pager, what's your experience, why do you want to do this, what can you contribute specifically? And then we're ready for the December election. Anything else? Ronnie, you're up.
I'm up.
That's a surprised look on your face.
Nope, ready. I'm ready. It's right here.
Go for it.
So we just talked about that board vacancy timeline. Leading up to that, we, at our last board meeting, we gave everybody an opportunity to review the questions to see if we wanted to restructure them. Received some feedback from our board members, so we'll take that information or those recommendations into consideration to reshape some of those questions with those recommendations. So I'll work on that. Let me see. Yep. So we just took care of all of that. So thank you for taking care of the board vacancy timeline. I wanted to follow up with our board about not only the board vacancy, but also the resolution that we reviewed in that same email, that same process as well. The resolution focused on recognizing Northern Arapaho elders, Northern Arapaho tribal elders as Longmont residents, providing, so not along with that acknowledgement, providing that opportunity to attend senior services programs on site or through Zoom at a resident rate. Our board had a chance to review that. There was one recommendation that came through. I don't know if you want to go back to numbers. It was just really to focus more, making sure that the language is focusing on the Northern Arapaho elders, tribal elders specifically. So just making sure that that language is very clear that it's for the Northern Arapaho tribal elders. Take that that recommendation into consideration. Move that forward to the city attorney to develop a final draft of the resolution in the hopes of getting that to city council.
When would that take effect, on 26th? Or right away, or whatever?
Depends on the process. I think it's just whenever we're able to get in front of council, and council would then vote to approve, correct?
Yeah. So if I can take a few just seconds, I wanted to introduce Jen Uten, our new, well, not so new anymore, assistant
It's
city
so new,
manager
let's-
for external services. So we're really lucky to have her. She brings a great wealth of experience.
Yeah, but I am learning that, obviously there are differences in
Right.
the way that each city
Right.
processes things. So I don't know if I can answer questions that are about process yet.
So I believe the way it happens is if you bring forward the resolution, the mayor actually signs it the next Wednesday, the next day. Is when we have all of the paperwork. So I believe it's pretty immediate from what would you say 11 p.m. Tuesday to 9 a.m. Wednesday when you're usually there.
More or less. I can't speak for when exactly the mayor would sign the documents
Yeah, well, yeah,
on a time
she-
basis.
Yeah,
but yes.
she usually spends the most part of the day on Wednesday with us in the city manager's office. So I think I don't
There you
think we
go.
would necessarily need to wait until January.
That's awesome.
So we need a motion from the board to move forward on the resolution as it's stated, as the city attorney takes a look at it.
With that recommendation, absolutely.
And just keep me in the loop on that if I need to put it on, just based on Jeremy's direction, when it needs to. Yeah.
So we have a motion for the board to approve the resolution.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second, Eric seconds. We'll move forward, get to the city attorney and let you know how that progresses. Thank you, Rodney.
Updates, working with our friends at the Longmont Senior Center for our budget approvals for 2026 to support senior services programs and services. We had, the past few months went to our board to talk about the conditions of the technology in our classrooms, our projectors, our whiteboard monitors we have in our, and I always call them the reader boards. The reader boards we have in our lobby that displays the daily schedule along with upcoming events. Each reader board is different. Worked with our friends at the Longmont Senior Center to discuss the conditions they're in and the need for an update and upgrade. And this last board meeting, they approved to fund technology upgrades for all of our classrooms, every single classroom in our facility. What this does, and it allows us to do, is move into a digital age. What we will have is a smart board, so we'll get rid of the projectors, we'll get rid of the whiteboards, and we will have one, think of it as a giant TV, a touchscreen TV, giant touchscreen TV in every single classroom. Right now, every single classroom does not have a projector, so every single classroom will have one now. What that smart board allows us to do is to, our presenters will be able to still utilize it the same as a projector. So instead of taking a laptop, connecting it to a cord, running it that way, our presenters would be able to connect to the smart board through Bluetooth and using our Wi-Fi, and be able to be across the room and still be able to display what their presentation is on our screen at the front of the room. It allows us to, it also provides that whiteboard feature. So I mentioned we're going to get rid of the whiteboards. It has a whiteboard feature so they can still write on it. We're not using whiteboard markers. It's think like a stylus pen. You can use different sizes,
Throw away
fonts.
all the markers.
Right, all of them.
That's great.
And so it has those same features. You can still highlight. You can do whatever you need to do for presentations for our board meetings. It also comes with a feature to have a virtual option. So for our board meetings, we can be able to use our Wi-Fi to connect to that, to be able to stream our board meetings, to stream classes. It allows a whole new realm of possibilities that we can't currently offer for our participants. We talk about limited space. A lot of our classrooms and programs fill up. Once we're at capacity, we have to create a wait list. If a seat opens up, we are able to bring somebody off that wait list and take that vacant seat. What this allows us to do now, if the presenter, we're not making it mandatory, but if the presenter would like to explore this option, is take that wait list, and now those participants can be a part of the program through Zoom, basically, and be able to log into the program virtually. So we won't have to turn people away in those cases. What this allows us to do also, each classroom will have a digital door sign on the outside. So we'll get ready with all those papers that we have and be able to schedule everything in advance. So for this board meeting, 10 to 12, once it'll show that on the board. Advisory board meeting, 10 to 12. Once the board meeting ends and the next program once this program ends, it'll turn over to the next program, advertising that next program by name and that time for that specific classroom.
Hey, Ryan?
Yes.
Would it, like, for example, the way we're doing this with these microphones and cameras, would that all then be integrated to stream this?
It would be a possibility to do it that way as well. I would have to work with Eric to see about the technology, meaning is it, because you just upload it to YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we can set up a Zoom and record it that way and then upload that to
Yeah.
YouTube. So all these pieces of technology that we're talking about, we have our computer card over here. We have a whole room of pieces of equipment like that for our computers, for our computer cards, for those portable projection screens and projectors. We're able to use that space now for an office space, so we can have more space for our volunteers, things like that. We can actually use that room as it's intended. So our friends at Longmont Senior Center approved that technology upgrade in 2026, and so very excited about that and the opportunities that it will bring for our participants.
We're excited too.
As heavy users of the technology, we're really
Yeah,
happy.
we teach a class where we do hybrid, and we use Zoom right now using things like, it's not the easiest thing to do, and sometimes you're holding your tongue in the right way to hopefully get connected, and so it's like, yay. It'll open up so much more
You
possibilities.
make it work well.
Mhm. Thank you.
Talk about the upgrade to the gym too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for the
Gym.
audio?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to get an audio upgrade in the gymnasium as well.
Wow.
So it allows, we do presentations under the main screen, would that be our west wall, but we also do presentations in our south wall as well. So there'll be speakers to allow audio, better audio for each location. So that way, if we're not presenting on this, have a presentation on the south wall, the audio is coming from the north or west side of the gymnasium.
Is it only audio?
Think of it as a surround sound.
No, there's video improvement.
And it communicates with the video and
Yeah.
much more seamlessly.
Oh, absolutely.
Going forward.
We will avoid a lot of the technology issues that we've had for our large presentations in the gymnasium, where the audio is conflicting with the microphone for the presenter. They're not working together or speaking together. One dominates the other, or they don't work at all. And so now we'll be able to use both of those features at the same time. And so we're really excited about the opportunities this not only brings for our participants, but how it's going to enhance their experiences here at the Senior Center.
So I attended the Friends meeting where the group was there that talked about, that's actually going to do the installation, correct? Yeah. And it was fascinating to hear them talk. I mean, this is going to make this place really, really great. But I think one of the things that I really got out of that I really enjoyed, I have been to meetings here and I've been to programs here where if you're sitting in the back of the room, you cannot hear. And this is going to take care of that. It's my understanding that you're going to be able to hear. That's
In D&E,
exciting.
which is the larger
Yep.
room, you can't hear anything, and you can't see anything. You'll be able to hear and you'll be able to see, and it's so
It's going
exciting.
to be so exciting.
Incredible.
Yeah. So good for doing it.
Yeah.
They also approved funds to sponsor our 2026 Elder Exchange as well. So a lot of good things from our last board meeting with our friends, and just very excited for these opportunities for our senior participants in 2026. So big shout out and thank you to our friends.
I'd like to put that in perspective. Think about what's been happening here. In the presentation Ronnie did for the bands last year, and when Arlene was talking about when the audiovisual people were here, very thorough presentations and very persistent with the board to give them the opportunity to invest several $100,000 in bands and upgrades here that Ronnie's doing with the support staff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think Ronnie has a great way of capturing data and telling a really compelling story, and so I really appreciate that. And just his example in our department, that leadership has been amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. So very excited about that. Our board does a very good job supporting our community, our participants in so many different ways, and because of that role and that responsibility, the perception is a lot of our participants get come to our board members for a lot of answers to questions they may have for our policies, procedures, or operations. I do want to request that the board continues to send them in our direction to staff, so we just make sure that our participants are receiving accurate information and receiving any support they need to make sure that we as the staff are meeting their needs in that process. So thank you for all you do, and that's my report.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, Ronnie, I was wondering about the cameras. The update on the cameras.
Cameras. Oh, for
When we're gonna put cameras around here.
So we're still looking at options, possibilities. You know, we are using a lot of our funds right now just to address a lot of needs, and funds are very, very tight right now as well.
Slim, yeah.
And so we're doing a lot of prioritization and just assessing what the true needs are at the moment.
Okay.
It's still being evaluated. We haven't decided yes or no. We're just trying to take a look at the funds that we have and what we use those funds to support at this time.
Okay.
But it's definitely a need that we want to continue to explore, and I appreciate the board's feedback and recommendations in that process as well.
Do you remember what the total cost of one of those cameras was?
At the top of my head, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, it was
Yes.
$300-400. I would say $300 to $500. I would say each one.
Each
per
one.
camera.
Okay. And you need
That's
to
just-
replace two?
That's just so. Those ones are the exterior ones
Exterior,
for
okay.
for the loop outside.
Okay.
We were exploring a possibility.
Oh, doing inside. Okay.
Where the
Okay. I
entrances,
understand.
especially where the
I understand.
entrances are.
Right, and that's another layer too. Is we have 2 exterior cameras that are per ETS. Our tech departments
I thought
are
that's what
not up to par, and saying that hey, we meaning you, senior services needs to replace those and get better ones. So we're in that process of seeing, okay, well, that's another speed bump of that process. What do we need to replace? How much is that going to cost now? And how does that impact some of those other needs that we have in our facility?
Yeah.
A lot of things to consider and weigh out.
Lots of needs, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good question. Thank you, though.
Anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Only 2 items. First of all, thanks to those who volunteered to help with the appointment, the vacancy appointments in the interview process for the next applicants for the Senior Citizens Advisory Board. Appreciate the time that you all take there. And then I just wanted to provide one update on an item I shared with everyone last month on the Alta Vita Citizens facility. So last month, I think I shared that the folks that run the Alta Vita residences, senior living residences, that continuum of care on the west side of town, kind of between Dry Creek and Fordham, they've been asking, they're asking City Council for a variance to expand their facilities and build some new facilities in that same area. What that means is they're requesting basically an exception to the setback or the required distance away from the environmental riparian corridor by the river trail that is in that area, just south of their facility. And so they're going through that process right now. They were going to be coming back to City Council 2 weeks ago, but that got tabled at their request to the end of October. So if you were following that or paying attention, just wanted to let you know, I think that'll be the October 28th meeting. Did I get that right?
Yep.
That date right? Thank you, John. And if you have questions about what that entails, really City Council is not deciding on the merits of the facility so much as we are deciding on the merits of their exception request for the setback variance. So if you have questions about any of those terms that I just used or the process there, it is complicated. Please don't hesitate to ask either right after this meeting or now if you want, or shoot me an email. Just wanted to mostly give everyone an update on the timeline there for your awareness of kind of where that development proposal currently lives as it relates to senior living assistance.
All right.
No questions?
Thank you.
All right. Move on to reports. Further down, Arlene, anything to add on your?
No, just that Lindsay does get very emotional over the budget. So, but anyway,
Tough decisions.
yeah,
Hard job, hard times.
yeah, it is. And I thought that her presentation was very good. It's good to know what there is.
Pretty realistic for what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't pull punches.
No, she's really very
She
transparent.
is.
Well, they do so much. It's just
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, and just a clarification on that, she mentioned a couple budget cycles. The federal fiscal year is October 1st today to next September. State is July to June. County and city are both on the calendar year. She mentioned the county before, but it's a January to December fiscal year for both the city and county, just for everyone's awareness.
That's good to know.
Which makes budgeting really interesting.
Indeed. And if you are looking for some entertainment to watch, you can live stream the multiple budget hearings the City Council has been having over the last 6 weeks. Really enthralling television. Really exciting.
They are.
Especially Lance.
Oh, yeah.
There's some really important information there. If you have questions about anything that I learned through that process, this is the first time I've been on City Council for the budgeting process. Happy to share more about that, or just let me know if you want to be directed to any particular topic or department for the budget process.
And I kind of watch it on TV. But is it, as far as new employees go, or new staffing, is that we're not going to hire any? Or have they gotten into that totally yet?
Oh, great question. Jen, do you want to speak?
There's a handful of new employees that are being proposed and for council's consideration, but in general, it's pretty flat. Yeah.
So will there be cuts or furloughs or any of that kind of a thing?
No, we're not planning for any of that.
Okay.
And I think we're planning, as of last week, I believe we approved the budget for basically paying at market rate for all employees and staff. So no cuts, no furloughs, and continuing to invest in the staff that we do have. And just one thing to note for our staff operations overall, we have a pretty lean staffing operation, which means everyone here who is city staff takes on a lot and does a lot for their individual role. Whereas that might be 1.5, 2 positions, or maybe even more than that in some other communities. So we expect a lot from our staff, and we want to compensate them appropriately as much as possible.
And if we have a vacancy that we believe kind of at the department level that we should fill, there really is a justification that we have to provide to our leadership team, to Jen, to Harold, to really take that into consideration. And so right now, all positions, at least that's how it's worked in human services, if we feel like we need to, it's an essential position to hire, they have to basically be vetted through Harold HR and our finance team.
All that to say, if you have not said thank you to someone in the last month, you have a number of staff who have been working very hard and are continuing to sustain through some really uncertain times right now, who are trying to maintain programs and budgeting, including Jen, who just joined us, but is trial by fire right now. So welcome aboard.
I would just mention that there were 2 presentations that happened from the police department and from the Parks and Recreation folks about the services they would like to provide and that they don't have enough staff for, and so those are, if you're interested in that conversation, I think it wasn't this last city council meeting, but I think the one just prior to that, and
September 11th?
That sounds right. So, you know, there's certainly lots of work that people would like to be doing to take care of these things.
I think that's September 14th, actually.
The 14th.
Yeah. Just because we are continuing to fund staff at current levels does not mean there aren't gaps in future programming or future needs, right? That we would like to be able to fund.
Well, the city keeps growing.
Indeed.
Harold always tells us to really look at things as have to, need to, want to. So that's kind of the frame that we're going into all of this work that we have to do.
But yes, compared to what you might be hearing out of City of Denver or Boulder County news, no, we don't have plans to cut or furlough staff.
That's encouraging. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? It's interesting, you can attend some of the coffee with council meetings. These types of things will come up from community members. It's pretty fascinating to hear what the city's able to do and what they've prepared for years ago from a budgeting standpoint, putting money aside in anticipation of something exactly like what's happening now. Pretty phenomenal what the city does. Anything else? Any other reports? Sustainability, Eric, anything? Okay.
Got nothing.
Johnny, you gave a report last time you had been in contact with Lily Moon. What, anything progressed since then?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, so we've got Lily Moon, who's with Boulder Workforce, and she's going to come at the next board meeting in November 5th, I believe. She'll be speaking with us for about 15 minutes just on what Workforce does, some programs they already have in place for employment for senior citizens. So she's going to give us a general update for about 15 minutes. I was also in discussion with Brandy about a workshop in 2026, and Brandy is running with that. And she told me in an email that she's probably going to target either summer or fall, early fall, to have a workshop. I told her if she needed any help from us, that we're willing to do whatever's needed. Brandy said she'd let me know that, but it sounds like she's running with that.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, great.
Arlene, update on the food table?
Sure. Can I just say a little bit about housing for a minute?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the new place that's going in, which is Ascent, the information that we have been given, and I may have the numbers wrong here, but I think I'm fairly close. Of course, we're going to have vouchers available for people over there. I believe it's 18. And that voucher opened on the 8th of September for people to apply. And of those 18 positions, they had over 200 people apply. So they've got some looking into it, they got to really take a look at that. And some of the people are people who are already in some of our facilities and they just want to move. And we can, you understand that. So on the 15th, they were going to open it up for the rest of the facility over there for people to start applying. We should be filling those places in next year, real soon, right after the first of the year. If you guys are ever over in that area, which is, I always say it's off of 18th and over, it's behind Walgreens, it's over in that area. They are really getting that place going.
Oh, yeah.
So they, of course, will have, the ribbon cutting and all that kind of stuff going on. So when they do announce that, if you guys get a minute, please go and see, because I think the places will be very nice. They are definitely low income, but we have some very nice low income places here in town. So I just wanted to let you know that there are people out there who need housing.
Yeah. Thanks, Harvey.
Food table. Let me talk about that a little bit. You all got a copy of the report that I gave you, and I also gave you out a copy of this morning as well. That shows you where we're at. Guys, we've already doubled our numbers since June. We had 115 people come through. I think we actually probably had a little bit more than that. But, and some people left, and some people, when there was a meeting in this room, and I know some of those people went through afterwards that didn't get a number. But we're getting up there. And then you can see as far as the total food numbers go. So I can give you an idea of what we're looking at for this next time. We're planning for between 150 and 120, which means that we are hoping to be able to put together 120 dozen eggs. We have somebody who gave us a bunch of eggs, so we're not having to purchase those this time. The interesting thing about it is that they're not actually in dozen containers, they're in the flats, and they have to be put into dozen containers. So we will be working on that on Friday evening, and I will check with some of you guys if you can help us with that, because I haven't quite figured out yet the exact number that would make it the most efficient to do that. But we are hoping to have at least 120 dozen eggs, and if we have the number that we did this last time, we'll go through them.
Yeah.
They'll go. And we're hoping to have pretty close to 115 pounds of meat. We did get some meat this last time that was donated to us, so that gave us a little bit of meat left over towards the next time, which is the 11th of October. So that kind of puts us where we're at there. Okay.
Can I speak to the egg issue you were mentioning? So Naomi called Arlene and myself and said, I've tested this. I did some flats. I put them from the flats to the dozen eggs, it takes so many minutes to do a flat of eggs. So she's asked Arlene to get that many people to that many flats in that Friday evening, so
Yeah.
we'll be in touch.
So we'll be in touch, because we're gonna, throw it out there to, can you work Friday for maybe an hour in the evening, 4:00? And then we're also on Saturday, because I'm gonna need to know who wants to help on Saturday. We had, I thought, a pretty good bunch of volunteers this last time. We could have used more. I know that. When we had that many people there, we could have definitely used more, particularly since we're saying, here's a basket for you, go through, and then at the other end, we're helping them put it into their own containers. So I'm probably going to add, see if we can get some more volunteers in there. And it's kind of difficult sometimes for people like me to lift some of those heavy things. So yeah, we're working on that. So one of the things that we're looking ahead at, and I think that we need to kind of look at this a little bit, is what are we going to do if we reach 150? Because we got 115 through there in just under 10 minutes from being under our hour and a half. And if we get a whole lot more than that, we're going to really be pushing it. I think that there are ways we can make it a little bit more efficient going through the line, and we can work on that. But one of the suggestions that was brought up was we may have to start turning people away. And I get real concerned about that when we're talking about seniors. So we need to really kind of think about that. We're not going to be able to expand our hours. I know that. But I think that maybe we can be a little bit more efficient. And as we got towards the end, we didn't have near the amount of food available. And what I'm hearing from people, and this is people these are our seniors going through the lines, is that people are taking more. Now, certain things you can only take one meat, you can only take one egg, dozen eggs. So what I'm hearing from people is they're taking a lot. So some of the first people's going through, are taking a lot of food. Mm-hmm. We have not put a limit on that. And that may be something that we need to look at in order to accommodate the people at the end of the line. Because I don't want people leaving here and saying they were out of food, so I'm not going to go back again. And I don't want people leaving here and saying some of the food was crap. We need to look at the food, and we're looking at the food, and we're making sure that it isn't. Because I don't want people to go away from here and say it's not a good place. I want them to come back. So some things to think about, guys. We're not going to put anything into effect probably this next time, but we need to think about that, because I hate to see us turn people away. So anyway,
Arlene,
our goal is 200.
The basket? The
Yeah.
baskets?
Mm-hmm.
There were not enough last time.
There are more baskets. And part of the problem that I saw last time was that they were sort of getting stacked up over here where you're actually helping people.
They were.
And we weren't getting them turned around. So again, if we have more volunteers, grab those, take them back up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I know it's every time there's like one basket empty and there's
Yeah.
like 5 people waiting for
Yeah.
baskets.
Yeah, and we just need to be a little bit.
Yeah, we should
Again,
do
it was
this
the first.
doing that.
It was the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're learning as we go along.
So I have a couple questions. Do you want us to donate egg cartons? Or does,
Yes, if you have them.
So save our egg cartons. So
Yeah,
we can,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because she's going to try and get a bunch of egg cartons, but she thought, well, we looked at the stacks on her phone.
Yeah.
We didn't actually see them in person, but there's a lot of eggs there. So, I mean, this is exciting, because
It is.
otherwise we've got to pay for them. And that's the other thing that comes up is, yes, we're getting some donations in, of money donations towards the seniors, but we're going to need more. If she doesn't qualify for a grant from the state, there may not be any protein to give out in the winter. So, yeah, we just kind of need to look at those things. So,
And two, I do think we should limit. I've seen what happens. We do need to limit initially.
and so the people
At
that
the
are
beginning
standing
of the
back
line.
here, can say, okay, you could take one
Right.
big thing of blackberries, not 5. Just so that we can, and they'll, they'll understand it. I know
Well,
the seniors will understand.
When I volunteered at the R Center, that's what they do. They have to. Today you get a half dozen eggs, or it all depends on the
they'll get a full dozen.
availability.
Yeah, eggs they'll get a full dozen of, but yeah, it's some of the other stuff that I think, because when you're at when you're number 100 or 102,
There's
and the only
nothing
thing that's
left.
left is green peppers, yeah, or a loaf of bread, I mean, yeah, you're gonna be kind of discouraged, but.
Or birthday cake.
Oh, those weren't even left.
Arlene, did you say that there's, will contain one meat and one egg?
Yes.
Is it one? One dozen, yeah, one dozen.
Yeah.
Is that, they could take both or either?
They can have, well, they can have one meat, so it's a pound of meat, a pound of sugar, and they can have a dozen eggs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Could be worth thinking about, just like paying attention to like if you were to do a one or the other
Mhm.
option, if that would spread out the dozen eggs or be beyond.
I would leave you with, well, probably not, because that would leave you with, we did have a little bit of meat left over last time.
Yeah.
But it would, yeah,
We had a lot donated, that's why we had extra.
Yeah.
Mhm.
we had somebody that donated, one of the, probably, I don't know if it was King Soopers or who, but somebody donated chicken and pork last time, some. So, yeah, we're pretty good about monitoring those, but I think, sure, if you've got 2 big boxes of green peppers, yes, you can take more than one.
Mm.
But some of the other things, I think we just need to kind of encourage people to don't load your whole basket with one thing, we'll work it out,
We need to give it to them, not let them grab. I saw,
Mhm.
I know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
you were there.
And I know we have our gente, whatever, now, but sometimes they come, as 2 when it's supposed to be
Right, Marta,
one
they do
We
that,
need
yeah.
to be careful of that.
One family.
And the people we know, I feel comfortable and say, no, espérate.
Yeah.
No, I'm not ashamed, I'm sorry,
You
like it or not.
It's making us move.
I'm
Yeah,
just-
move it along, move it along.
It's because they're choosing, I said, choosing can be
No,
better.
it is
I mean,
true.
it's
Yeah.
meat, it's one of them. It's bread, vámonos, yeah. The eggs, I'm concerned, we're gonna run out. That,
That is
it's
true.
a dozen, we can cut them in half. 6. And then some of them were opening up the box.
Yeah.
I said, what are you looking? There's a crack. You just go and sprinkle it.
Yeah.
In the store you can do that because you can turn it right here, okay?
Right.
I mean, I was very straight.
Yeah.
That's who I am,
That is
and that's
true.
what I'm
So
gonna
that
be.
people get here and then start looking and then
Yeah.
big line and
I know.
Yeah.
They
The other
work,
thing, the
and
other
the
thing
people
is
taking
that
the time
I
to see
did
if
actually.
they're like this or I don't like it, and the people is.
It's not that I'm pushing for disrespect. No,
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah, we just need to do that. The other thing is that when we're giving
But
it
also,
It's about being respectful to everyone, right? It's-
I mean,
I mean, it's fun. It's fun. People were laughing at me. I said, "Oh, this is
something else.
I mean, it's not.
In case you don't know, Martha's very bashful. She is bashful. Move, come on, move.
Yeah, Omar said if he's right, go ahead and make this problem.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then the grapes. Oh, they're pretty. Well, that's
I
for
wanna
cake.
thank-
You know how
thank-
to make empanadas? Well, you
Yeah.
make that great. And if you don't, just leave them. Okay.
The other thing is that I also stop if I see, so for instance, we had one person who had 3 numbers, okay? You only need 3 numbers, you're one family, and so I took back the numbers, and that probably, people probably thought I was mean, but hey, we gotta get people through the line.
You're right.
And it's one family, it's one per household. So yeah,
But also,
and they're really good about that,
I'm
but
sorry, I have a question. So, it supposes the 10 to 11:30, doesn't it? Is this the time?
Yeah.
So when we come back at 9:30,
Mhm.
it's a full the people are already there. So the last time that I came, so he told me these people come first, and then
Mhm.
this one, and then this one. So we start taking names. So how we can do
Okay.
the people coming sign by themselves
Yeah.
or something that
we are gonna have the
really-
numbers available to us. This time, they're here, okay?
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're gonna have the numbers available, so whoever's here can get those numbers, and the people that are already here can hand them out to
Maybe
them.
some people is coming like at 9 or 8:30, and then
Yeah.
we are not here, so that
Yes.
we are taking the number by themselves.
I'm usually here by about 9, so.
Yeah, me and Marta come at 9:30, so
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was a bunch of people here.
Yeah,
So then we'll get a number when they arrive, or how
Yes.
do we all do?
yeah. So if there's, so whoever's here's first, and of course they're here because they wanna, be first in the line, I get that. But they also sit and socialize. This is a social thing for them too. Yeah, this is really a
Yeah,
great
they
time.
come
for them.
early to socialize before they
Yeah.
start.
So I think we're working on that. But I think that if the numbers are here, that's gonna be a lot easier than you guys writing them.
But we're gonna start at 8:30, at 9, when? So we don't start at 4 and start. you
Giving
know.
the numbers is
That's a
different
plan.
than when we actually start the thing. You know, but if somebody's here at 9 o'clock, they're gonna get the number 1 or the number 4 or the number whatever it
Yeah,
is.
we should.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
9 at least, at 9. Right here before, Spencer, wait, sit down.
Because if there's nobody here to hand the numbers out, then they don't get them, but,
Yeah.
yeah.
So are we
usually-
gonna be at the desk?
Pardon me?
Are the numbers at the desk?
They should be, yes.
Because I'm
My
usually
understanding,
here by 9.
Sean is.
Arlene, are you,
Sean knows.
are you walking around handing out, or are you saying basically, okay, we're gonna start handing out numbers now, stand in line?
Well, I usually get the people that are here. I mean, whatever time I get here, well, and of course the numbers haven't been here in the past. They're going to be here now. So it'll be real easy to do that. And then I try to send them up by 10 so that we've got, the first 10 can go through, and then I hold the line. Of course, last time, for some reason, they all jumped in there, and the minute the food arrived, somehow or another. Yeah, anyway, I will do better at that. Then I took from number 40 on back to the cafeteria and said, okay, we're going to put you back here. There's chairs back there, and then I'll come get you when your numbers are ready. And that seemed to work out really good this time.
I heard a lot of good feedback from that.
Yeah. They're not standing out here, and they're back there, and hey, you know what? We go back there, they're all visiting. I mean, that's part of what this is all about, too, is anyway. I think that's, other than, I would like to know who wants to work on Saturday.
I do.
And,
I'll work Friday night too.
I will too, Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. Or Friday
John.
afternoon.
okay, so.
I can help on Friday because I'm part of the day of the dead. So I'll be at 8 o'clock, 7:30 out there.
Well, that's okay, because I need most of the people on Saturday.
Saturday.
So,
Saturday.
John,
I can't do Saturday.
Write down my name, but I'm not sure I need to check that.
okay.
I let you sign up.
And Marta, you,
I can help Friday.
We signed
Saturday I
up
can't because
for our
I'll be.
tables.
Saturday you
Oh,
can,
okay.
but Friday you can.
Yes.
I
Okay.
think
And
I
then it's
can
next
start
week.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Friday, what time?
I don't know.
What time Friday?
Anything planned?
4 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, I think I'll
I'm
come
sorry,
Friday too.
so I don't know if I have anything
Here.
planned or not. Okay, you can get her on my number here.
Okay, so I've got Eric, John, Maria for Saturday, and Arlene.
And Friday too.
Yeah, I'm just right Saturday right now. 4, 5, 6.
So you'll need more volunteers for Saturday?
I'm gonna ask some of the friends if they're interested. So,
Dave raises.
do you two, I know you mentioned to me that you would like to work on Saturday, so you're gonna be standing probably a lot of the time. We're not gonna ask you to lift the heavy boxes and things, but,
Can I sit on a walker?
Hmm?
Okay.
so, Laura, you wanna work on Saturday?
Arlene, did you get Dave?
Saturday.
You're gonna work? Okay, Dave.
How about Matthew?
On Saturday the 11th,
I have
am
appointments
available.
on Saturday,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It would be the 10th and the
Do you
11th.
guys need hands in the morning of the 11th? Would a few extra hands, setting up, be helpful?
It's the second
I
Saturday.
can't stay for the actual event. I have
And the food doesn't
That's
usually get here until about 9:30.
Package eggs and
Would it be
stuff.
And that's when it gets really busy, because then we gotta get stuff up.
Would it be helpful to have a few
That's
extra
on
hands then?
Friday.
Yeah.
Getting
That's
it
on
ready.
Friday.
Yeah.
Getting
I mean, you're gonna do it?
would be,
Yeah.
would be the.
Okay, I've got some people in mind that I'm gonna get in
Distribution
touch
on
with you,
Saturday.
so, all
Yeah,
right.
Arlene, check with Susie.
The 11th.
And what time is it Saturday?
Okay,
From 10 to 11.
I think we're good.
And Arlene shows up at 9.
So I want to thank everybody for their participation. I also want to talk about the fact that Friends have been helping us. They've got some supplemental food delivery that's still out in the lobby that they're gathering and bringing to us to help us through the winter months on the dry goods. So thank you to Laura and Donna for that.
Donna.
Well, she blamed you too, so that's, thank you both, they're really helpful. Also, Karen Roney was helping to talk with Naomi about getting into the grant writing process with the city that Yeah, we just found out about it. So,
CDBG, yeah.
so there's starting to be this collaboration between both groups, which is wonderful. So if you can round up some more friends to be there on Saturday, that'd be perfect. And just put that in perspective, 305 households, over 700 people served in 4 months. Hour and a half each time. That's pretty impressive.
It is.
Pretty impressive.
We're moving.
We are.
John, Arlene, would you give your phone number, because my sister wants to check her schedule and she may be a volunteer.
Sure.
And she has no official affiliation with anything but Longmont.
Yeah.
And all you're required to do is contact the volunteer coordinator. Because we work under the insurance of Longmont Food Rescue, so you need to contact them to spend about 15 minutes on the phone. So you have a T-shirt and you can be recognized as a volunteer, so we would take that up.
Oh, he wants me to.
Yes, we all look real cute with our green shirts on.
What, John?
So we have to do that
what were
before
you
Saturday?
Suggesting?
Oh, that you all contact the volunteer coordinator for Longmont Food Rescue, so you can be an official volunteer.
Oh, and then you're gonna.
Get your shirt by Dior. Kristen Dior designed the shirts.
She actually brings the form too, so you can
My
fill
whole
it out.
closet is my volunteer shirts.
She doesn't really wear the shirts, but we wear them.
I like the shirts. They're nice.
So who do I contact?
Yeah, I'll give you my number afterwards.
Okay.
And that's for the being a volunteer and everything? Okay.
Yes. Anything else? Any other items for board updates, open discussions?
You want to talk about this?
Well, we all got this flyer for the day of the dead. Saturday. You're welcome. It's a family. No alcohol, no drink, no drugs. Okay? It's a family oriented, so you are welcome to come. It's been 25 years and I've always been involved from in charge of the food vendors. So there's going to be a lot of groups, whatever, come and join us. I know that's the day of the food distribution, so we'll get done. But I won't be there for food Friday.
Okay.
Take care of the food vendors. And it's a really, really great event. It shows in the back how the other events are going. So bring your familia, whoever your neighbor is.
So, Marta, are you going to be dancing at this?
Me?
Scott
No.
goes to
She just keeps everybody moving.
But Scott likes
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. 'Cause,
So that's my dance group on the.
This is the free.
Oh.
yeah.
Let's hope I
It's
still get this
downtown,
slide.
right?
Yeah.
And then this one's at the
Well,
museum.
Anything else?
free work, but people can see that.
Or
Yeah. It's at the
Motion.
museum.
To adjourn?
At the auditorium. Yeah.
So moved.
It's free.
Second.
We're gonna get lunch.
Yeah, we're done.
And then the
Thank you all for coming.
$20.